Hello and good morning, students. You're welcome to English class for today. In today's class, we are going to be learning some grammar work. And our grammar work will be about expressing the future. That is, writing future tenses, writing sentences to talk about the future. Yes, so prepare yourselves to learn how to write future tenses. So before we go deep into what we have to do today, a warm up is this. You can see these pictures. What do they tell you about? What do they remind you of? Yes, of course, they remind you of New Zealand. We have a face of a New Zealander and a flag of New Zealand. So this is what you should do in order to refresh your mind about what we did in our previous classes. We should write 6 words that relate to New Zealand. Write any 6 words that relate to New Zealand, whether it's a language of the people there, whether it's a sports that they do, whether it's the name of a place in New Zealand, whatever you can remember. I want you to write it out. So, if it's their sports, if it's their leisure activities, whatever you can remember, write it out. Take 2 minutes to do that. It is important for you to do this activity so that you can remember some stuff from our study of New Zealand. Okay. All right. So today, basically, what we are going to be doing are activities from our course book, which includes grammar work, speaking work, and group activities. In the group activity, when that time comes, we are going to do it as a whole class rather than in pairs because of the online way that this is going to take place. So we'll do it as a whole. So, first thing that we're going to do is the grammar work, of course. So, expressing the future. In this text, in this book, in this page of our book, you can open your books to this page where we have this work. Yes. Look at these sentences here in bold. These sentences. I will go. I am going tonight. I am going to go. I go tomorrow. All these sentences here, they have something in common. Okay? They all express things that have not happened yet. They are all expressing things that hasn't or that haven't happened yet. So this makes these sentences good examples of the future tense, expressing the future or the future sentences. I will go. I am going tonight. I'm going to go. I go tomorrow. So these are examples of future tenses, and that's what we want to learn today. So in this other slide here, we shall see how we can make different kinds of future tenses, how to express the future. So there are several ways of talking about the future in English. Rather than trying to learn the rules, just memorize some key examples like these ones below. So, these are the different ways by which you can express the future. Okay? Learn, practice, memorize, and write more examples for you to know how to do this as easily as possible. So the first one is using the present continuous. By using the present continuous, we are expressing the future. Now look at this example. Using the present continuous, that is for fixed arrangements. When you use the present continuous for fixed arrangements, you are expressing the future. Example, I am coming to see you in December. I am coming to see you in December. This is a good example. Another thing that you can use to express the future if you use going to in a sentence. Going to. So when you use going to for plans and intentions, you are still talking about the future. Example, we are going to get one tomorrow. We are going to get one tomorrow. Also, When you're using going to for prediction based on what you know or what you can see. And this is the example. What's the weather going to be like? What what's the weather going to be like? This is a question format, but it's still asking about stuff that hasn't happened yet. Look at those clouds. It's going to rain. Look at those clouds. It's going to rain. So we've looked at three so far. Let's look at the other options we have of talking about expressing the future using will or shall. Now, the difference between you can use will or shall interchangeably depending on if you're doing a formal writing or informal writing. So, when you use will or shall for giving information about the future, that example, it will be summer. It will be summer. When you're using will or shall for predicting what we think or guess will happen. Example, we will have a great time. Will have a great time. Or when you use will and shall for asking or suggesting what to do. In this case, you can also use shall. Example, what shall I bring with me? What shall I bring with me? Also, another way is using the present simple. Using the present simple for timetables and schedules. Example, I leave on 21st. I leave on 21st. I leave on 21st. And when you're using the present simple, yes, for timetables and schedules, or when you're using the future continuous tense. Example, saying that something will be in progress at a time in the future. That is, when you're using the future continuous to say that something will be in progress at a time in the future. Example, we will be surfing at Whale Bay. We'll be surfing at Whale Bay. So these are all examples of how to express the future. So as it has said, what you need to do is for each of these examples, I suggest that we write one example each so that we can practice how to do this. If we practice how to do this, it will stick with us. Then later, also in the future, we can begin to learn about all, all the intricacies. We will start to learn about how to make it and what to put together. For now, there are so many ways of expressing the future, and we have shown or we have seen almost 8 ways here. So I would like for you to remember these examples and write one each for the different ways we can express the future here. Okay? All right. Now we will watch a short video that further explains expressing the future or future tense. So get your pens and your books and get ready so that after each explanation, I want you to write one example each. From the explanation you will listen to, I want you to write one examples each. Okay? All right, let's go.
Welcome to English Grammar Spot. This tutorial is about the future tenses. In this lesson I'm going to show you how to form a future tense and when to use a future tense. Take a look at these sentences. I will help you carry those bags. She's going to work tomorrow. She's flying to London next week. The bus leaves at 6 o'clock. The prices are about to go up, and by this time tomorrow he will be lying on the beach. All of these sentences are in the future tense, but as you can see, there's quite some variation. The most commonly used future tenses are shall and will plus the base form of the verb, to be going to plus the base form of the verb, the present continuous, the present simple, to be about to and the base form of the verb, and the future continuous. Let's look at shall and will plus the base form of the verb. We use this form for things decided on the spot. They are not fixed agreements and they are not very likely to follow through. We need to pay extra attention to shall because we only use shall in questions with I and we. Shall I help you with that? And shall we go for a swim? We use will in all other situations. I will take the bus, you will listen to me, we will make dinner, and they will drop by. Let's look at questions with will. Again, we use the base form of the verb. Will he put up his tent? Will she celebrate her birthday? Will you park your bikes in the shed? Let's look at negations with will. We use will and add not, contracting it into won't, and the base form of the verb. Now I've also included shall. Shall plus not becomes shan't, and the base form of the verb. But this form is very old-fashioned, but I thought it would be fun to put it in anyway. Shan't I get sunburned? It's quite Victorian. You won't cross the road. It won't be easy. We won't make the beds. And they won't need a passport. Now let's take a look at that other form, to be plus going to plus the verb. We use this form for fixed plans made for the future. We need to know when it's going to happen, so we need to have some kind of time indication. I'm going to help my brother next week. It is going to rain tomorrow. And we are going to cook dinner tonight. They are going to mark the test in an hour. It's quite likely that these plans will follow through. Let's look at the questions. Am I going to pass my exams this afternoon? Is she going to visit her aunt soon? Are they going to run the marathon next week? And let's have a look at the negations. I'm not going to learn it by heart this evening. He isn't going to buy a new computer on Tuesday. They aren't going to watch the telly this night. Now sometimes we also use a present continuous when talking about the future. We use the present continuous for plans in the very near future, and again we need to know when they are happening. I'm working this afternoon. He's calling her in the morning. And we are driving down the street any minute now. Sometimes we also use a present simple for the future, especially for fixed schedules. The lesson starts at 8:30. The bus arrives at 10 o'clock. The train departs from platform B. Another form to talk about the future is to use to be about to plus the base form of the verb. We use this form when you are on the verge of doing something. You use this form for something that can happen at any minute from now. The lesson is about to begin. The airplane is about to take off, and they are about to open the department store. A final form is the future continuous, and this is quite a tricky one. We use the future continuous when you tell someone about your future plans, something that you will be doing at a specific time in the future. We use shall and will. We use the infinitive of the verb to be, or the base form of the verb to be. We use the base form of a regular verb and ing. For example, by this time next year, I will be working at the head office. And no, they can't help you tomorrow. They will be doing their homework. I thank you for your attention. For regular updates, please subscribe to youtube.com/EnglishGrammarSpot or go to www.englishgrammarspot.com.
So there you go. I hope that has been helpful, and you've been able to write some examples. Now we go to using what we've just learned, and we are going to practice with this work. So you choose the best option here when talking about the future. Example is the first one. A. What are you doing next week? This is like a form of a conversation, question and answer. One, what are you doing next Saturday? The answer is I go or I'm going mountain biking. Which is the correct option? Is it I go mountain biking or I'm going mountain biking? Of course, the correct option is I am going. So you see, I'm going mountain biking. That's the correct option. So I want you to do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Also, questions and answer. Number 2 says, I've just seen the weather forecast. It isn't going to rain tomorrow or it doesn't rain tomorrow. Remember, we are talking about the future tense. So circle the correct option from both options that you have. It isn't going to rain tomorrow or it doesn't rain tomorrow. Circle the correct. Do the same for 3, 4, 5, 6. I give 1 minute for each question, so you have 5 minutes to complete this task. 5 minutes. Your 5 minutes starts now. Okay, yes, for correction, what is the correct option here? Of course, is it isn't going. This is the correct option. For number 3, what do you want to do next weekend? Shall we go fishing? Will we go fishing? Which is the correct option? Shall we go fishing or will we go fishing? Of course, is will. Will we go fishing? Will is the correct one. Number 4, I've looked at the timetable. The train leaves at 9:30 or the train is going to leave at 9:30. Of course, the train is going to leave at 9:30. 5, just think, this time next week we will surf at Whale Bay or we will be surfing at Whale Bay. Which is the correct option? Of course, we will be surfing. Be surfing is the correct option. And lastly, 6. The beaches are fantastic there. You will have a great time or you shall have a great time. Of course, is you will have a great time. Okay, so let's go continue with our lesson. Now, this is a speaking activity that we do now. In pairs, we are going to talk to each other using the future tense. So work with a partner. Pair up yourselves in the class right now for the next 5 minutes and ask yourself questions and answer them in the future form. An example is what I'm going to read to you right now. So work with a partner, discuss your plans for the next few days. For example, what will you be doing at this time tomorrow? This is a question that one of you can ask, and the other one will also give an answer. Remember to use the future tense for answering. At 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, what will you be doing at 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon? What will you be doing on Sunday evening? What will you be doing at 9 o'clock on Sunday morning? These are example questions. And these are example answers. I will be playing tennis. What about you? What will you be doing? So these are examples of these conversations that I want you to have. This is to practice the future tense. Okay, so take 5 minutes, do that, practice. Okay, so lastly, for the part of this class, these activities in your pairing, the pair that you are now to do this conversation, I want you to do these activities 4 and 5. We have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 sentences here. I want you to write them in the correct section here where they need to be. Of course, always read the instructions first before you do your work. Match the sentences to the grammar rules below about expressing the future. Write them in the correct places in the chart. So these are the sentences. Write them in the correct places. We also have 8 places here for you to write those 8 sentences in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think one has been done here. So write them in the correct place where they need to be. And when you're done with that, remember you're doing this work in a group. And when you're done with that, you come to this one, also the sixth, number 5, and choose the correct option. Circle the correct option to complete these sentences or these questions. Hurry up, we are missing the bus. Hurry up, we are going to miss the bus. So we're going to miss the bus is the correct one. You circle it. So you do the same for all of these questions. This shouldn't take more than 6 minutes maximum because you're working in a group, and more you bring your ideas together and try to solve the question. So this is the class for this morning. I hope that you've been able to learn one or new things. The most important thing is for you to understand how to express future information, how to talk or how to speak or how to write future tenses. And there are so many ways as you've learned in this class. And with all these examples, also, I believe that yeah, it's a step forward, and yes, you will learn more in the future as hopefully. So this is what it is for now. I'll see you in the next class, which is going to take place in the afternoon. So also don't forget, once you finish this, send it to me for grading. Okay, all right.